You're listening to our FM 92.7. My name is Alex Nyman, and this is Jazz Club. There's Roy Hargrove there, the trumpet player I've mentioned to you quite a number of times over the last few weeks. American trumpet player, extremely cool guy, and fabulous player as well. I think there's Justin Robinson there on alto saxophone. Not too sure about the trumpet player. Anyway, welcome to my show. It's Jazz Club with me, Alex Nyman, and I'm going to be with you here for the next about an hour and 50 minutes or so. And I've got my usual eclectic mix of jazz from around the world. And I've got some really, really cool, kind of like different styles for you today. Some smooth jazz. And I've got some sort of pretty straight ahead stuff. I've got some nice gospel things going on there. All sorts of things, really. So do hang around if you can and listen to my show. I'd be very much appreciative of your company. Coming up now is a number by Chick Corea, and this is called Windows. Chick Corea there with a beautiful track called Windows, and I was listening to that thinking, the flute player, who was it? Because I know Joe Farrell was from the album called Inner Space, and I know Joe Farrell was playing tenor saxophone and flute on that, and I suddenly thought, actually, I'm pretty sure that's not Joe Farrell. He doesn't have that sort of like Julius Baker vibrato on flute. And I thought, who does it sound like? Oh, no, the Julius Baker vibrato on flute. Obviously, it must be Hubert Laws. And I quickly did a little check online, and sure enough, it's Hubert Laws. I mean, it's pretty obvious, I suppose, in a way. And as a flute player, I can assure you achieving that sort of definition on the low notes as he does is really quite remarkable. He's a very amazing flute player, and he's still going. He's been around for quite a while now, and I guess he must be in his sort of probably early 70s, but he's still very, very active as a musician, and he's a fabulous player. That's Hubert Laws. And yes, so what else have I got now? Oh, I've got, and I keep on mentioning this every week. I think that one of the great things about modern technology is the access that it gives us to music online. And I've been using Apple Music. I'm not sort of plugging them in any way, because I guess you could do the same thing with Android. But I'm quite a sort of an Apple fanboy, if you will. As with Apple Music, it does give you fantastic access to a lot of stuff that's out there, and it's really remarkable just how many artists are out there that I haven't heard. As I'm rather ashamed to say, but I am hearing them now, and I'm enjoying every minute of it. And the next track I've got is it's a really lovely track. This is by a vocalist. Her name is Tierney Sutton, and this is a fantastic standard. This is called "The Song Is You."
I hear music when I look at you, beautiful theme of every dream I ever knew. Down deep in my heart, I hear it play, I feel it start, it melts away. I hear music when I touch your hand, a beautiful rhapsody from some enchanted land. Down deep in my heart, I hear it say, is this the day? Oh, I alone have heard this lovely strain, I alone have heard this glad refrain. Must it be forever inside of me? Why can't I let you go? Why can't I let you know? Why can't I let you know the song my heart would sing? Beautiful rhapsody of joy and youth and spring. Music is sweet, words are true, the song is you. I hear music when I look at you, a beautiful theme of every dream that I ever knew. Down deep in my heart I hear it replay, I feel it start but then it melts away. I hear music when I touch your hand, beautiful rhapsody from some enchanted land. Down deep in my heart I hear it say, could it be a day? Oh, I alone ever this lovely strain, I alone ever this glad refrain. Must it be forever inside of me? Why can't I let you go? Why can't I let you know? Why can't I let you know the song my heart would sing? A beautiful rhapsody of joy and youth and spring. Music is sweet, the words are true, the song is you. I feel it start, but it melts away. I hear music when I touch your hand. Beautiful rhapsody from some enchanted land. Down deep in my heart, I hear it say, is this the day? Oh, I alone have heard this lovely strain. I alone have heard this glad refrain. Must it be forever inside of me? Why can't I let you go? Why can't I let you know? Why can't I let you know the song my heart would sing? A beautiful rhapsody of joy and youth and spring. The music is sweet, the words are true. The music is sweet, words are true. The music, 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 music is sweet. The words are true. The music is sweet. The words are true. The song is you. The song is you. The music, music is sweet. The song is you. The music is sweet. The song is you. The music is sweet. The song is you. The song is you.
Oh, I got all weepy over that one. Excuse me. That was a guy called Huge Groove. I think it's sort of supposed to mean huge groove. His real name is actually, I think it's something like Steve Adams. Obviously not the basketball player, but a kind of ordinary name. I mean, he was given that name Huge Groove by his agent. And I don't know if you remember, but for those people that haven't heard my show before, I did relate a story that I was over in Osaka earlier in the year. And a very good friend of mine called Daniel Chia, who's a very, very excellent smooth jazz Singaporean saxophone player, was over there at the same time, and we hooked up and was having a chat with him. And he said he was just off to California to do a kind of a smooth jazz festival. And the same agent that had christened Steve, or I think his name is Steve, at least his first name is Steve, christened Steve Huge Groove, decided to christen Daniel something like I don't know, smooth jazz fiend or Charlie saxophone or whatever, and it was a really completely out of character name for him, because he was a very sort of straight-ahead, very Christian sort of chap. As in fact, Steve is, I believe, he plays on the gospel circuit. So, and I know he's quite a big churchgoer. So, yeah, and it was kind of hilarious in a way. And anyway, so he did one concert over there under his pseudonym, and then he came back to Singapore and vowed never to go over again. I don't blame him, actually, because I wouldn't want to be called something else other than my real name. And I thought Daniel Chia was a great name anyway. Why would you want to change it and call him something else? Anyway, that's okay. That's just a little story. And so before that was Tierney Sutton. To be honest, I've never heard it before, and that was amazing. Her scat singing is fantastic. Her pitch is incredible, and being able to, actually sing the tune and scat at the same time, sort of scat sing the tune, as she did the second time around, and the second chorus was absolutely incredible. And gosh, I wonder if Roger Fox might like to get her over to New Zealand. That would be cool, wouldn't it? I'll have a word with him and see what I can do. Anyway, I'm sure he'll probably say no to me. What else have I got now? I got a wonderful lady called Jane Monheit. She's singing a blues, and this is called Twisted.
Told me that I was right out of my head, the way he described it. He said I'd be better dead than live. I didn't listen to his jive. I knew all along he was all wrong, and I knew that he thought I was crazy, but I'm not, oh no. My analyst told me that I was right out of my head. He said I need treatment, but I'm not that easily led. He said I am the type that is most inclined, when out of this sight, to be out of my mind. And he said I was nuts, no more ifs or ands or buts, oh no. They say as a child I appeared a little bit wild with all my crazy ideas, but I knew what was happening, I knew I was a genius. What's so strange when you know that you're a wizard at 3? I knew that this was meant to be. Well, they say little children are supposed to sleep tight. That's why I drank a fifth of vodka one night. My parents got frantic, didn't know what to do, but I saw some crazy scenes before I came to. Now do you think I was crazy? I may have been only 3, but I was swinging. They all did it, go rebel. They all did it, listen, and also would die in style. But why should I feel sorry if they just couldn't understand the reasoning and the logic that went on in my head? I had a brain, it was insane. Soldiers used to laugh at me when I refused to ride on all those double-decker buses, all because there was no driver on the top. that I was right out of my head the way he described it. He said I'd be better dead than live. I didn't listen to his jive. I knew all along he was all wrong, and I knew that he thought I was crazy, but I'm not, oh no. My Aunt Liz told me that I was right out of my head, but I said, dear doctor, I think that it's you instead, because I have a thing that's unique and new. It proves that I'll have the last laugh on you, 'cause instead of one head, I got two, and you know 2 heads are better than one.
Schofield there with I'll Take Les and the fabulous saxophone player there, Eddie Harris. No longer with us, unfortunately, although John Schofield is, and that's fantastic news for everybody. And unfortunately, yeah, Eddie died quite a few years ago, actually. A very, very unusual saxophonist in much that he kind of... I think I've already talked about this in another show, but I think it's always good to sort of reiterate because, some people might not have seen it or might not have heard me talking about him, but he's one of those guys that kind of really pioneered the use of electronics in the 60s with saxophones. And using, things like loop pedals and wah-wah pedals and octave dividers, etc. And he was, really kind of at the forefront of that. And he had a very unusual sound. He used a very he studied classically, believe it or not, and then came into jazz later. I thought I heard somebody coming in the door there. I think it was Michael. Anyway, obviously not. He pioneered all that stuff, and as I say, he did study classically and played on a very sort of classical setup. Very, very sort of. I won't go into details, but it was a very classical setup with his mouthpiece, etc. But developed this very unique sound, and what a wonderful sound it was as well. Before that was Jane Monheit singing "Twisted," which is in fact a series of solos that were put to solos. I think one of them was by Wardle Gray, saxophone player. Anyway, now look, here comes the difficult part of the show for those listeners out there who are listening and want some nice easy jazz to listen to. Well, I'm afraid you're not going to guess it because I'm going to give you something very, very difficult to listen to. And I thought I'd do a couple of takes of the same number, and I've done this before with a few other things, but this is... I think it's good to sort of put new music out there. I say new music, I mean, it's sort of relatively old, I suppose, in a way, in terms of jazz, which is always, coming out virtually every day with something new. But anyway, this is the actual track itself is called Moment's Notice, which is a John Coltrane number. And the two bands that are playing this, one of them is the San Francisco Jazz Collective, that always take a very different slant on whatever material they're playing, whether it's original or a copy of somebody else's material. And the first track you're going to hear is by a very, very gifted saxophone player, a guy called Mark Turner, who is very much at the forefront, the leading edge, the vanguard, if you will, of contemporary saxophone, and really has quite the most awesome technique and approach to music is a very unique way, and it's just never short of, oh my goodness, oh look, oh no, anyway, I'll carry on. That's just Michael and Veronica having a bit of fun outside, although it does look like, it looks like they're in a bit of trouble, but don't worry, we'll just carry on with the music, and it's quite normal. And actually, that happens every day in the studio, believe it or not. It's just that happens to be that I'm bespeaking. Actually, it was going on before when the music was playing. So it's nice to see that it really does happen in real life. And what have we got? So I'll go back to Mark Turner. As you can see, he's fabulous. You're going to hear he's a fabulous saxophone player, and he's coming on right now. I'll just go and sort Michael and Veronica out and patch up all the wounds. It's a San Francisco Jazz Collective there with Moment's Notice, and before that you heard Mark Turner playing Moment's Notice. Both very different kind of feels and vibes for that whole thing there, but immaculate playing for sure. And if just in case for those people who were watching on the television or will be watching on the television, if you wonder what was going on behind me there, that was apparently Veronica had put a semicolon in the wrong place. Michael is a bit of a stickler for grammar and punctuation in written English, and he demands only the best. And as you can see, that's what happens if you don't deliver to Michael. And apparently if I say fabulous once more, he's going to do much the same sort of thing to me. So I'll stop saying fabulous and I'll find another adjective to use for all the lovely music that I play for you. And anyway, so what have we got coming up now? Oh, you know what? I really enjoyed Tierney Sutton before, and I think I'm going to play some more of her. And this is a track. It's actually a couple of tracks together, and it's the Wayne Shorter number Footprints, and that's followed by the Rodgers and Hammerstein, My Favourite Things.
whiskers on kittens, bright copper kettles and warm woolen mittens, brown paper packages tied up with strings. These are a few of my favorite things: cream-colored ponies and crisp apple strudels, doorbells and sleigh bells, schnitzel with noodles, wild geese that fly with the moon on their wings. These are a few of my favorite things: girls in white dresses with blue satin sashes, snowflakes that stay on my nose and eyelashes, silver white winters that melt into springs. These are a few of my favorite things: when the dog bites, when the bee stings, when I'm feeling sad, I simply remember my favorite things, and then I don't feel so bad. Bright copper kettles, warm woolen mittens, brown paper packages tied up with strings. These are a few of my favorite things: cream-colored ponies, crisp apple strudels, doorbells, sleigh bells, schnitzel with noodles, wild geese that fly with the moon on their wings. These are a few of my favorite things: girls in white dresses with blue satin sashes, snowflakes that stay on my nose and eyelashes, silver white winters that melt into springs. These are a few of my favorite things: when the dog bites, when the bee stings, when I'm feeling sad, I simply remember my favorite things, and then I don't feel so bad, so bad. I don't feel so bad. I don't feel so
the more I see you, the more I want you. Somehow this feeling just grows and grows with every sigh.
Nancy Wilson singing The More I See You. That was just the most gorgeous lead alto sound there in the saxophone section. I don't know if you really kind of cottoned onto that too much, but playing like that stylistically is just an absolute treat. I love to play like that whenever I get the chance. It's a fantastic way to manipulate the sound, if you know what I will. It's a very kind of 1940s Hollywood, they call it a 1940s Hollywood sound, and it's very, 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 very prevalent at the time, and a lot of guys can still play like that, and when it's called for, it's a fantastic thing to listen to. And before that, you heard Tierney Sutton, and as I told you before, I haven't really heard very much of her before. In fact, I've heard nothing of her before, but I certainly have now, and I'm going to listen to lots more of it, and I hope you do too. And she was singing the Wayne Shorter number called Footprints, and that was followed by, it was sort of segued into my favourite things. Now, I did say earlier on, I'm playing a smooth jazz for you. It's not going to be a smooth jazz fest. Don't worry. It won't be Kenny G. It won't be anything like that. But there are some guys out there that play smooth jazz that, well, actually, having said that, Kenny G is a really, actually, and I'm going to probably get slaughtered by all the, serious jazz musicians around, but I've got to think of myself as a fairly serious jazz musician. I have respect for those people that really can play. Be it smooth jazz or anything else, because when the red light's on and you're recording, it takes a certain amount of skill and imagination to be able to come up with the stuff. And it might be simple to some people, but it's actually really quite it's quite demanding in many ways to play in that style. I'm talking about smooth jazz. It requires a certain, mental approach, if you will. Anyway, I'm sure most of the serious jazz musicians in Wellington and wherever else will probably listen to this and go, "Oh my God, what are you on, Alex? For heaven's sakes, it's absolute rubbish." But you know what? It's not. There's some great players out there playing that stuff, and this guy in particular is one of them. Now, his name is Andy Snitzer, and he's a New York-based tenor. Well, New York-based tenor saxophone player. He plays, most of them anyway. And he's kind of made his, I think he kind of did his thing with smooth jazz, but transpires that, like most of those guys, he can actually play sort of straight ahead jazz. And I thought it'd be really cool to play a couple of tracks by him, showing him playing in both particular styles. And the first one is called Last Kiss. And that's followed by the standard Softly as in the Morning Sunrise. So a little bit of smooth jazz and then some straight ahead. And this is from tenor saxophone player called Andy Snitzer from New York. Sandy Snitzer there, playing Softly as in a Morning Sunrise, and the track before that was a track called Last Kiss. So Andy Snitzer, very, very well-known New York saxophone player within New York, and to a lot of guys, well, like me at least, and yeah, he's sort of big on the endorsement scene, endorses a few mouthpieces and saxophones and bits and pieces, but he's a fabulous player. Oh, God, I said fabulous, didn't I? Oh, no, I hope Michael doesn't suddenly burst through the door and start attacking me, but I won't try. I'll try not to say that again. He's an amazing saxophone player, and as you can see, he can sort of tread quite easily between both playing the kind of smooth jazz thing and just getting into the straight ahead stuff. And he's got a fantastic sound as well. It's very light, but doing that smooth jazz thing, he kind of overblows the horn a little bit just to get that kind of almost like a dual quality to the sound. If I'm not getting too technical for you. So Andy Snitzer, 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 if you want to check him out. He's got a lot of albums out there. In fact, really, really, really excellent player. So, coming up now, I played a track from this album, I think it was last week. Yeah, I think maybe last week, or maybe the week before. It's a John McLaughlin tune, a John McLaughlin band with Alvin Jones and Joey DeFrancesco on organ. And this is a tune called Tones for Elvin Jones. And that was from the album After the Rain, John McLaughlin and Elvin Jones and Joey DeFrancisco, the amazing organ player. Wonderful chap. If you get a chance to check Joey out online, he's on YouTube. He's got quite a number of videos on YouTube. You'll see quite what an amazing player he is. Bass pedals, both hands, all the stops, everything. He's a sort of, a music machine. Oh, no, I meant to say, excuse me, got a little bit of a throat in my throat. Coming up over the next couple of weeks, in fact, this week will be the rehearsal. On the 18th, I'm just going to grab my phone because I've got all the dates in there. And now the big boss here at Arrow FM 92.7, Michael Wilson, has crafted a musical all about Cole Porter. All the Cole Porter songs are included in it. And the first concert is at Rathkill College Auditorium. That will be on Saturday the 18th of August. And it starts at 1:30. So be there or be square, as the old saying goes. And there's another concert, which is on Sunday the 26th of August. And that's going to be at the Expressions Theatre in the Hut. And that is starting, I believe, at 10:30. You might want to just check that one. It seems a bit early, but that's what I got on my phone. Doesn't mean that it's correct, though. But hey, it should be really good fun. I mean, Cole Porter's music is amazing. Always great fun to play. Well, I haven't actually seen or heard anything of it at the moment, of the actual music that we're going to be playing. And I think it's going to be one of those suck it and see, play it by ear when I get there on Saturday for the dress rehearsal. Should be fun, I hope. If it's not, I'll tell you all about it the following week and let you know just how unfun it was. So anyway, here comes another track. I've got a Chick Corea. I played a track from him at the beginning of the show called Windows. Now, this is from an album that he did quite a bit later with my one of my very favourite saxophone players, Michael Brecker. It's a very famous album within the jazz world. It's one of those albums that came out in about 1980. 81, I think it was. I remember hearing it at the time, just going, oh my goodness gracious, what on earth is that? And Michael Brecker was just absolutely on fire throughout the whole thing. And this is one of the tracks from it. It's called The Three Quartets, and this is quartet number 1. So that was quartet number 1 from the 3 Quartets album there by Chick Corea, recorded around about 81, 82, and very sort of, a kind of, what would we call it, an epiphanal moment for me when I heard that album. I was sort of into a lot of jazz saxophone players at the time, and I had heard a little bit of Michael Brecker before then, but not a huge amount, and that kind of really did something for me and put me on the right track, I'd like to think, at least. Anyway, now listen, I've only got about another 41, so 50, that's 10 minutes, isn't it? So I'm going to have to be a little bit selective here with my tracks. Who else have I got coming up? I've got I think I'm going to have, now I did have a little bit of, since it's a smooth jazz-ish kind of show, I think it would be nice just to finish it off with the, I was going to say the ultimate smooth jazz saxophone player, but it's actually not Kenny G, right? So just in case you're worrying about that, it's not Kenny G. This is actually, and as, talking about the, this sort of thing coming up soon, which is going to be the Martinborough Jazz Festival. And I have spoken to that. I have spoken to you already about that over the last couple of weeks with Lee and Ted. They're getting the whole thing together, and a number of other people, obviously, very much heavily involved with the getting the festival off the ground. It's August 31st and Saturday the 1st of September, and the Sunday the 2nd of September. Those are the 3 days that the festival runs for. And this, the theme this year will be women in jazz. And talking about women in jazz, this is a woman in smooth jazz, and she's probably the most famous smooth jazz saxophone player out there, as a woman at least. And her name is Candy Dolfer, and this is ILU.
What do you got for me?
Well, I'll tell you what I've got for you. I've got some Joshua Redman to play at the show today. Tenor saxophone player, son of Dewey Redman, very famous saxophone player. Before that was Candy Dolfer, possibly the most famous woman currently in the smooth jazz sphere. And it's been a real pleasure to play this music for you again, and I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm going to be in tomorrow because it's going to be the opening, as it were, of the Arrow FM television thing going on, and there's going to be a whole heap of people in the studio tomorrow. Kerry McNulty and all the guys from Rotary are coming in. I'm going to be here. Might even bring a saxophone in with me, maybe. I don't know if I'm going to play it. I'll just bring one. I'll stick it on the table. You can have a look at it, and it should be good fun. I'm looking forward to it. I'll be around at 10:30. I think the show's going to be going on all day long. And hey, if you're around, pop in. You might be able to get onto the television as well. Show your face. Have a little set to outside in the window, like Michael and Veronica did earlier on. It's all good fun, and I hope you're going to enjoy the show tomorrow. And I hope you enjoyed my show. And I look very, very much forward to bringing you a lot more of this fantastic music next week. And until then, goodbye. It's been a real pleasure. Bye-bye.